Hey there again, kiddos. This is Mrs. Rudd, back to do a little bit more practice and instruction dividing decimals. And we are going to take a look at this page here with the lines. And if I can be totally honest with you, I already worked out the first problem on this page, and I found it to be a little small. Like, I just write too big to make this all fit here. So you can see the answer that I have right here. And if you want, you can come back and look at this and check your work. But what I'm going to do, so my work is neater and a little bit more accurate, I'm going to write these problems on a piece of lined paper and solve them that way. And if you kind of have big handwriting, that might be a good idea for you too. So for right now, I'm just going to ignore this first problem. And I'm going to go over here to the last problem in this top row. And I'm going to treat this guy like he's my first problem. But instead of using the lines underneath there, I'm just going to use a piece of notebook paper. So, here we go. Give me just 1 second. I'm going to pause for just 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to adjust my camera. So anyways, I'm just going to transfer these numbers right here. I have 8.8 and 871.2. So the first place you need to look when you're dividing and you have decimals is you need to check right here in your divisor. You can't have a decimal right here when you're using long division. So let's just take that decimal and we're going to move it one place to the right. And when we do that, we're really multiplying by 10. Well, whatever we do to the divisor, we have to come over here and we have to do the exact same thing to the dividend. So I'm going to multiply that number by 10 as well. So now I'm just going to, I'm going to go right underneath. And I'm going to rewrite that problem without those marker, showing where I'm multiplying by 10. So I have 88, and I want to see how many times I can take that away from 8,712. Now, just like we did in the other little video, I like to take a Post-it note, because when I look at all of this, sometimes it kind of looks like too much. So let's just go digit by digit. If you have 8, you can't take 88 away. You don't have enough. So let's slide over one more. If you have 87, you can't take away 88. Close, but you're a little too shy. So let's slide over one more. If you have 871, you could take 88 away 9 times. Let me show you how I know that so fast. 88 times 10 would give me 880. Because anything times 10, we just include an extra 0 on the end, and I know that that's too big. But it's pretty close to 871. So I think 9 is a pretty good guess. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to figure out the product of 88 and 9. 8 times 9 is 72. We'll regroup that 7. 8 times 9 is 72, plus 7 is 79. So that's going to give me 792. So 792 we'll write right here. We'll go ahead and subtract. Let's regroup here. 11 minus 2 is 9. If I have 6, I can't take away 9, so I have to go right here. I have to borrow from the 8 and regroup. 16 minus 9 is 7. So now I'm going to look to my next digit, which just so happens to be a 2. We're going to drag that guy on down there. And now my question is, how many times can I take 88 away from 792? Well, I already figured that guy out. It's going to be 9 times. I already know 9 times 8 is 792. And the difference between these two numbers is 0. Now I've used all my digits. I don't have a remainder. So for this problem, I'm done. The quotient is just 99. And there's no decimal to deal with because we don't have a remainder. So let's pick another problem from this page. We'll do 2 or 3 together. I'm going to slide my workspace over. And I want to pick a good one. Let me see here. I think for the next problem, we are going to divide. This is in your middle row. I'm sorry, not the middle row. It's the second row, middle problem. We're going to divide 250.8 by 1.9. So I'm going to come right here, and I'm just going to copy the problem as it was on my paper. 1.9 is our divisor. 250.8 is the dividend. And just like in the other problem we solved, because we have a decimal right here, and I need to get rid of it by multiplying by 10. Well, because I need to do the same thing to the dividend, I'm going to multiply that number by 10 as well. So I'm just going to rewrite this without all the mess. I have 19, and I want to see what the quotient is when I divide that into 2,508. So let's just go digit by digit. If I have 2, I cannot take away 19. So let's slide this guy one spot over. If I have 25, I could take away 19 once. 1 times 19 is 19. And the difference between 25 and 19 is just 6. So now I'm going to reveal my next digit. We're going to drag it on down there. And now my question is, how many times can I take 19 away from 60? Well, I know because 19 is really close to 20, I could take 20 away from 60 3 times. So I'm going to guess 3 for 19. I'm going to come over here and figure out what 19 times 3 is. That's going to be 27. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. That's going to give me 57. 60 minus 57 is just 3. So now I'm going to bring down my next digit. Now my question is, how many times can I take 19 away from 38? And I know I can take that away twice. And I know that 19 times 2 is 38. And our difference is 0, because 38 minus 38 is 0. So again, this is the same kind of situation. We've used up all the digits. We don't have a remainder. So the quotient is simply 132. Let's take a look at one more problem from this page. And if you give me just a second, I want to try to pick one with a remainder. So one moment, I'll be right back. All right, kiddos, I picked out a good problem. The last problem we're going to solve together is going to be this guy right here. This last problem on the page, where we're going to divide 450.18 by 4.1. And again, I just need a little bit more space than what that paper gives me. So I'm going to go ahead on a clean sheet of notebook paper, and I'm just going to copy the problem. I have 4.1 is my, let me get that in the view. 4.1 is my divisor, and 450.18 is my dividend. So this looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? Here we have this decimal in the we have a decimal in the divisor. So I need to multiply by 10 to get rid of it. I also have a decimal in the dividend. Now really, it's okay to have a decimal here. I don't need to get rid of it. But because I multiplied my divisor by 10, I need to multiply the dividend by 10 too. And that moves the decimal one place. So when I rewrite this, I'm going to have a decimal right above it on the quotient line. And that is absolutely fine. So I'm going to go underneath this problem right here, and I'm going to write 41, because that's what happened to my divisor when I multiplied by 10. And now I have 4,501.8. And let's make sure we are showing that decimal right above in our quotient line. Okay, so now just like every division problem, let's just go digit by digit. If I have 4, I can't take away 41. So when I move that over to reveal my next digit, if I have 45, I could take away 41 one time. 1 times 41 is 41, and the difference between those two numbers is 4. So now I'm going to drag down my next digit, which is a 0. If I have 40, I can't take 41 away. It's not quite big enough. So I can do that 0 times. That 0 right there is really important. 0 times 41 is 0. And 40 minus 0 is 40. Now I'm going to drag down my next digit, which just so happens to be a 1. If I have 41, I can take that away from 401 9 times. And the reason I knew that so fast is I know 41 times 10 is going to be 410, and that's too big. But 9 is going to get me close enough. So let's see what 41 times 9 is. There's 9, that's 36. So if 9 times 41 is 369, and now I'm just going to subtract to find the difference between those two numbers. If I have 1, I can't take away 9. So I need to go to borrow. I can't borrow from 0, so here I'm going to go to 4. My 4 is going to go to a 3, and then I'll regroup that 1, so 0 becomes a 10. Now if I have 1, I can borrow from 10. 10 becomes a 9, 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 9 is 2, 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 3 is going to give me nothing. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag down my next digit, which is an 8. Now I'm going to estimate that I can take 41 away from 328 8 times. And I have 2 reasons for that. One, I know 9 is going to be too big, so 8's a better guess. And the other way I can estimate that is I look at that first digit of my divisor and the first 2 digits of my what remains right here. I could take 4 away from 32 8 times. So that's another reason I know 8 is a good guess. So I could go here and figure out what 41 times 8 is. It is 328. So I'm going to put my 8 right there. And it's fine if it's on the other side of the decimal. 8 times 41 is 328. The difference is 0. And now we're done. There's our quotient.